When Jeff Reichert arrives at the Circuit Courthouse in Annapolis, Maryland after Labor Day, he'll be in for the fight of his life. A fight to try to regain the custody of his 12-year-old son, Grant.
It's terrible. I'm not surprised because this case is the way it's rigged.
I'm Allison Asti.
Judge Allison Asti refuses to let the boy testify, but she already knows what he thinks. And that's why Grant hasn't even been allowed in the courtroom since he was taken away screaming from his father last February. Court ordered to live with his mom. His dad's contact totally cut off for months, even while the judge acknowledged what Grant had told her. Quoting, Grant said that his mom is the devil in human skin. The court claims Grant's gag order is in his, quote, best interest. We say it's exactly the opposite.
With my mom, it's just misery. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just numb. Everything just feels numb. Well, with my dad, I was actually genuinely happy every day. You know, I'd wake up and I'd have a smile on my face, you know.
Since February, 7 agonizing months, Jeff Reichert, a Maryland attorney living in Virginia, has only spent 16 hours with his son. Visits supervised like he's some sort of criminal when he's not.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't even know where he is.
Father and son have been separated all summer long. A family injustice that went viral on Facebook thanks to an investigative video we posted early this summer.
He was expecting to see me today. And he's in danger.
Dad's planned 5-hour trip to visit Grant in August was scrapped, in part over a fight about the supervisor's right to say who could come along for the visit in Annapolis, like Grant's friends from Virginia or Dad's relatives. Reichert, a former military officer, had been routinely attacked in court for smoking marijuana after he had been diagnosed with a neurological injury.
I'm never going to deny that I smoke cannabis. It saved my life. It was prescribed to me by doctors.
But Reichert had researched the judge's new hand-picked custody supervisor, and her Twitter, it was full of references to drugs, weeds, lots of effing weed. And the lawyer for Grant's mom is still afraid of him testifying even now about where he wants to live.
Like I said, he's smart.
Months after what sure looks like a court-ordered brainwashing. In July, attorney Brennan McCarthy called Grant his dad's little co-counsel, called our video a hatchet job, a naughty little video, whatever that means. When someone tells me that I did a hatchet job, I always like to say, well, what is it that I got false in my story?
Perhaps watch your story.
I did watch my story. I wrote it, the story.
Well,
so tell me what I got. Tell me what's false. Tell me what I got false.
Well, counselor, what did you say that was true?
I think everything I said that was true. I think this guy's getting screwed. I think this guy's getting screwed. What we've already documented in Annapolis is a horrible family court experiment gone wrong. The plan to take Grant away from the parent he wanted to be with, his father, and force him to live with the parent he said he was scared of.
So Grant's case is not special or unique, but textbook.
Dr. Genevieve Brackens is a professor at the University of Virginia's Maxine Placer Lynn Women's Center.
And it's my hope and prayer that the public wakes up and realizes what an absolute catastrophe family courts are.
There's no dispute that Jeff Reichert has ignored just about every single court order that's come from this courthouse. But taking away his son didn't just punish Jeff Reichert, it punished a 12-year-old little boy too.
The judge put a gag order on the 12-year-old. What she's conveying is that she could care less. It's not about him and what he needs.
What's happening here in Annapolis should make legislators in Maryland rethink family laws. There's plenty of evidence Reichert should never have been dragged into court here in the first place. He had been involved in a custody battle of more than 10 years with his wife in Baltimore City, was granted primary custody when it ended. His wife was the one who was ordered to have supervised visits, in part because of the drunken conduct that actually made news headlines in Maryland. It obviously affected this young boy.
Just like taking me to a hotel on the Eastern Shore and getting blackout drunk and all that. And it's just like, this is the same woman the court sees as an amazing mother.
Months after the Baltimore court decision, Sarah Hornbeck claimed she had moved to the Baltimore Capitol and now used a 12-year-old allegation that had already been litigated in Baltimore to get a court protective order against Reichert. He was repeatedly arrested. Months later, the Annapolis court ruled Reichert should lose custody. He had kept his ex-wife from some of her visits, but says he did it because she had failed 3 of her court-ordered SoberLink tests.
SoberLink is the first technology that makes alcohol monitoring discreet and lifestyle friendly.
Missed dozens of others. Reichert has saved his most damning fire about this courthouse for this woman, Helen Laird, the county employee paid by taxpayers to evaluate child custody. Quoting, Ms. Laird's custody evaluation has devolved from objective inquiry to a biased, adversarial, subjectively disparate attack on the defendant, his character, and credibility as a father. Judge Asti was mad we even got a copy of Laird's custody report, but it's most notable for what it doesn't say. No mention of the drunken headlines. No mention that Sarah Hornbeck was on criminal probation when it was done. Laird had never stepped foot in Jeff Reichert's house even to look around. She ignored allegations Hornbeck was using fake addresses in Annapolis to prove she even lived in Anne Arundel County. And she had never talked to a single one of Jeff's relatives. Her first report was turned in February 2021. You know when Grant's paternal grandmother was interviewed for the first time? Just last month. And as you might imagine, her review of Grant's mom was ugly.
He's not going there again. He's so scared of your drinking, and now you're saying you're going to kidnap him again because she's kidnapped him. At that point, had kidnapped him 2 summers in a row.
Laird has been able to avoid our cameras during our visits to the courthouse in Maryland. Cameras aren't even allowed inside the courthouse. That's wrong. It's the people's courthouse, not the judges. The cameras show us all what's going on inside. But there's a lot more wrong here. The custody evaluators are county employees. Does anyone really expect the judge to embarrass them for shoddy work? They should be independent of the court. Circuit judges, we learned, are elected to a shockingly long 15-year term in Maryland. In Texas, bad judges can be thrown out after just 4 years. Voters just turned away a frightening judge named Barbara Stalder who banned parents from ever seeing their kids without probable cause.
I can't do anything about it. If I try to lift a finger, I'm going to throw him in jail.
Reichert's mom suspects the court only made contact after all this time because of the criticisms in our first video. The judge claims she's never seen our reporting, but had heard about it. Even so, Reichert sought the judge's last-minute recusal in part because of what he believes is alleged retaliation. Quoting, "It's become clear that Her Honor cannot continue to preside over this matter impartially." Asti said no. The court has more than once claimed it punished Jeff Reichert for ignoring orders, and last month ruled Reichert was still mentally abusing his son, even though he's barely seen him all year. But it's not just Jeff Reichert who was punished, Your Honor. It's Grant. He was punished too, losing contact with a loving dad, his friends, a safe school. This case is in Maryland, but the wrongful punishment in cases of alleged parental alienation all over our country is just not right.
It's about power and control and the agenda that they're running, and they don't care how much suffering and anguish is produced in the child. That's the well-being of the child is not what this case is about. And the U.S.'s hell-bentness on litigating children as if they were pieces of property is just evil.